Hello students, we are back with a social science class where we were discussing history chapter The Great Mughals. Now when I talk about the Great Mughals, we have discussed already about Babur and Humayun. In today's video, we will be covering about Akbar and this will be my video number 3. Now when we talk about Akbar, let us start about his early life. So let us first discuss about the early life of Akbar. Now we saw that in 1555 Humayun recaptured the territory from Afghan. This we have already discussed when we were discussing about Sher Shah Suri, and he restarted the Mughal rule. But he died in 1556. So Akbar at the age of 13 had to sit on the throne. Now when I was telling you about the return of Humayun, I told you that when Humayun came back and he recaptured all his territories, when he returned to India, he fought with the Sur Empire, he recaptured all his territories, but he could only rule for one more year and then he died. It was an accident. He fell from the steps of his library. His library that is in Sher Mandal in Purana Killa. Now this we have already discussed. Now when Humayun died, at that time Akbar was only 13 years old. So he had to sit on the throne at the age of 13. So from 1556 to 1560 he ruled under Bairam Khan. He used to take decision for Akbar. This Bairam Khan, he was very loyal for the Mughals. So Akbar was there on the throne, but all the decisions that was taken by Bairam Khan. After that Akbar, he became an independent ruler from 1562. When I talk about battles, Akbar, he had fought many important battles. First one was Battle of Panipat. Now soon after becoming the king, he fought second Battle of Panipat, in which he defeated Hemu. Now who was Hemu? Hemu was the general of the Afghan forces. Now this battle, it was fought under the leadership of Bairam Khan, and this Hemu, he was the general of the last ruler of the Sur dynasty. So this when second Battle of Panipat was fought, although Bairam Khan was leading the battle, he had fought, but at that time Akbar was the king. So this battle was fought under the kingship of Akbar. After that, another battle that he fought was Battle of Haldighati in 1576. In this battle, Akbar defeated Maharana Pratap. When I talk about these battles, it is very important to remember the battles, also to remember the years. Okay, you should always remember the years in which these battles were fought. You know, this Fatehpur Sikri, you all have heard about that place. This Fatehpur Sikri, it was also built by Akbar, and later he shifted his court also in Fatehpur Sikri. Now battles we have discussed. We discussed about the early life of Akbar. Then I also told about Fatehpur Sikri. Now let us talk about the places that he conquered. Now if we talk about the places he conquered, we can say that in the west he conquered Gujarat. In the east he conquered Bengal and parts of Odisha. In the northwest he conquered Kashmir, Sindh, Kabul and Kandahar. He also annexed large parts of central India, and then in the Deccan he conquered Berar, Khandesh and other parts of Ahmednagar. We have already discussed about these few places when we were doing regional kingdoms too, right? So when I am telling you about the places, it's better if you keep a map with you. You know, these things, when you study about any place with the help of map, this makes your map knowledge also strong. Now as and when I'm telling you which all places he conquered, if you will see in the map, you will understand the location of that places in the map also. So when you have your exam, you will not find any difficulty to locate any place on the map. So what all places he conquered? When we talk about the west, he conquered Gujarat. Then when he talk about east, he conquered Bengal and parts of Odisha. Then in the northwest he conquered Kashmir, Sindh, Kabul and Kandahar. Then in large parts of central India was also conquered by him, and then in Deccan he conquered Berar, Khandesh and other parts of Ahmednagar. Clear? Let us now discuss about the policies of the Akbar. Akbar, there were two policies which were very popular, and there is the book Akbarnama. We had read this name in chapter 1, the medieval period, where we had studied about this book. So this Akbarnama, it tells us about the entire Akbar's period, also the policies that he adopted. So let us now discuss those policies. So those were Rajput policy and religious policy. So first one is Rajput policy. See, Akbar, he wanted to make a good relation with Rajputs. He wanted the Rajputs to be a strong supporter of Mughals. So he, from his own side, he tried many ways, he put on many efforts to gain the loyalty of Rajputs for the Mughal. So for that, some steps were taken by Akbar. First of all, Akbar, he defeated the Rajputs, but he never humiliated them. He never ill-treated them. He never interfered in their personal matters. We all know that he himself was married into a Rajput family. Then he also gave high post to Rajput chiefs. Okay, the Rajput chiefs, they were given the high post. In fact, Raja Man Singh and Raja Birbal, these were the true trusted officials of Akbar. These were also the Rajputs only. Clear about the Rajput policy? So first, what was the first policy? That although he defeated the Rajputs, but he never humiliated them. Then he himself was married into a Rajput family. Then he also gave high post to Rajput chiefs in his administration. Coming about the religious policy. So Akbar thought that if we want to make a good empire, if we want to build a strong empire, he also should have the confidence of the Hindus. So he adopted many measures for which even Hindus would feel nice, because he treated all, be it a Hindu, be it a Muslim, for him all his subjects were equal. He never had any type of discrimination amongst his subjects. Now, what all he did in religious policy? First of all, he abolished the pilgrim tax in 1562 and then jizya in 1564. There is an interesting story behind this pilgrim tax. What is pilgrim tax first? The pilgrim tax, it is basically paid for taking bath or for visiting the holy places. Alright. So, I was talking about that interesting story. What happened? Once Akbar, he was hunting near Mathura. He noticed that a tax was levied on the people who had gathered there on pilgrimage. Akbar came to know about that. It has been the custom of every Muslim ruler to take pilgrim tax from the Hindus. So he found it wrong for two reasons. Now, when he came to know that it has become a policy of every Muslim ruler that they will take pilgrim tax from the Hindus at every place of Hindu pilgrimage. So he thought it is not correct. Now, why did he find that it was not correct? There were two reasons behind that. First of all, he thought it was taken by the people who had come in search of the light of God. Secondly, that tax was not uniform. It was decided on the basis of the wealth of the people. So he abolished both these two taxes. Then he also abolished the practice of forcibly converting the prisoners into Islam. He even encouraged Hindus to build temples. He even gave grants to build temples. He also participated in many Hindu festivals, and the holy books of Hindus, he wanted to read that, so he translated that into Persian so that others can also read it. Clear about religious policy? What was the first religious policy that he adopted? He abolished the two taxes, that was pilgrim and jizya. Now jizya tax means that was a tax which was paid by the non-Muslim. Alright. Then he abolished the practice of converting prisoners into Islam. He even encouraged Hindus, he allowed them to build temples, he even gave grants for building of those temples. He himself participated in many Hindu festivals like Holi, Diwali. He even got the holy books of the Hindus translated into Persian. This was about the religious policy. Then Ibadat Khana. What is Ibadat Khana? Ibadat Khana, it means hall of worship. This was built at Fatehpur Sikri. Akbar made this Ibadat Khana in Fatehpur Sikri, where different discussions, different ideas with the religious teachers were shared. Like different people of different religions came there, different spiritual leaders, they gathered to discuss on the teachings of their own respective religion. That is Ibadat Khana. Clear? Ibadat Khana in simple words, it's hall of worship where people gathered. People means people of different religion. The preachers of different religion, they gathered and they discussed about, they shared their ideas about their own religion. Next is Dine Ilahi. Now we saw in Ibadat Khana what happened in Ibadat Khana, that different people of different religion, they gathered and discussed about their religion. Now what is Dine Ilahi? Dine Ilahi means when all the discussions, after all the discussion with various spiritual leaders, Akbar found that all religion preach the message of love, respect and peace. Therefore, he suggested a religious path called Dine Ilahi, which means religion of one God. Okay, when in Ibadat Khana, when different people gathered, they discussed about their own religion, Akbar found out that the motive of every religion, the aim or the message of every religion is same, that is love, respect and peace. So he suggested a religious path which is Dine Ilahi, which means religion of one God. Now this Dine Ilahi, it was not a new religion, but it was a code of moral conduct. Some followed it, some did not. But Akbar never forced anyone to follow it. It was also said that this Dine Ilahi, it was similar to Ashoka's policy of Dhamma. You all have already studied about Ashoka's policy of Dhamma in class 6. Remember that? So many told that this Dine Ilahi, it is similar to Ashoka's Dhamma policy. Now this is all for the day. I hope you all have understood what we discussed in Akbar. Let us just have a quick recap. We discussed about how soon Akbar became a king. Then he ruled under the guidance of Bairam Khan. Later on he became an independent ruler. The two most important battles that Akbar fought were Second Battle of Panipat, which was in 1556. Then Battle of Haldighati, which was in 1576. We also discussed about two policies of Akbar, that was Rajput policy and religious policy. Then Ibadat Khana, which means hall of worship. Dine Ilahi, which means religion of one God. I hope you are clear with Akbar. Please go through this video once again to clear all your doubts. I have made it in a very simple language. Again, I am telling you, I have made it in a form of short story so that you listen it and you will understand that. Now coming to the assignment, question number 3. What was the main aim of Akbar's Dine Ilahi? Question number 2. Write in brief about pilgrim tax and jizya. You only need to explain in short what is pilgrim tax and what is jizya. Question number 3. List any 3 achievements of Akbar. Achievement by here I mean you can write about which all places he conquered. That was the achievement of Akbar. Clear? We will be meeting again soon where I would be explaining you about Jahangir. Till then, go through Akbar, go through Humayun, go through all these things once again and be prepared for the next topic, that is Jahangir. Take care. Bye bye.